All right, outliers. Niiamah, Sean here, and thank you so very much for letting us be a part of your journey today. We have an incredible roundtable set up for you, and I'm excited for you to spend time with these four awesome trailblazers who are all finding their way to create more on behalf of themselves and others. Let's get in and see how they're going about doing this. So, Alyssa, we're going to start with you. Would you mind letting us know more about you and the game that you're playing right now?
Oh, right. Hi. Thank you so much, Niiamah, for having me on your program. If I were to articulate the game I play, I would like to say it as I'm rewriting the rules. I don't see, like I see the world in, the constructs that it is, and it doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna do what I need to do anyway. I focus on influencing with integrity. That really matters to me. I am committed to educating the world about the importance of digital infrastructure so we could do amazing podcasts like this. So I look at that as moving infrastructure into the consciousness of people and their souls. And I really work on myself as a person to keep myself centered in authenticity so that the realness of it all and all the construct that we put out there and the literal games that get played can be broken down and re-put back together again in a way that feels good. So that's my game.
Well, I'm glad that you're playing it, and I'm glad that we get a chance to play a little bit with you. It's fun when I ask this question, I get to hear this. I'm like, ooh, I like this feels like a fun game to play. I'm really excited to see how we all bring it all together. All right, thanks. Brendan, let's get to know you here. Mind sharing more about you and the game you're currently playing? Brendan, are you able to share more about you and the game you're currently
Oh,
playing?
I'm sorry. So the game I'm playing right now is the game of influence. And influence is not the influence that most people would think of, but it's more of an influence of being proactive and also just being a role model at the same time. And why I mean that is that the fact that I've been built through adversity, I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations and trauma, and it encouraged me to realize that my story shouldn't be hidden; it should be spoken. And everything I do is basically showing that I'm a person that explains my story and lets my story out. And other people have hidden stories, have hidden traumas, have are, and this is the old quote I used to believe in: hidden nobodies are somebodies. And it's very true because, there's a lot of things hidden about people that they don't know what's going on in their life, or people do not know what's going on in their lives that they know about. And, you just speaking out what you have could really encourage somebody. And I personally believe that everybody is built through adversity, through whatever circumstance it is, rather if it's a layoff from a job, rather if it's parents not supporting their dreams, rather if it's a traumatic event. You push through, you didn't die, you didn't go through any craziness, you didn't go through any, conditions that messed you up. But even if you did, you still stay strong. And that's the thing, the fact that you stay strong is the case. And that's my goal, is just to help bring people together, people who are broken and people who are creative, to know that you're not underrated, you are overrated. But the people see you as underrated, but soon they'll call you overrated.
Oh, I like this. I like these things where we take the words that we have and we play with it. Like people talk about underwhelmed or overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm just whelmed right now. And so thank you for playing this game here, Brendan. I'm glad to have you here. It'd be really great to keep playing with you. Christine, let's get to know you. Do you mind sharing more about you and the game you're currently playing?
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for hosting today. I am playing in the world of business, and I tell people candidly, I never set out to build a global business I'm running. I got invited to help people and said yes when I was told by a very good friend, pay attention. People need help. I believe that business is elegantly simple, and I've observed that the world is selling you complexity. If you are an entrepreneur and feel driven to create your own economy, I want you to do so because you want to create impact and the wealth, which means financial, spiritual, and your whole different dynamics of how you play the game. I want your business to feel like oxygen. I want you to have faith that it will survive, and I want you to get to choose who you play with. but you need to do so with fundamentals. And I will tell you this, if you can dream it, you can build it, and the world around you will help you do that. And if you're not in the right circles and you don't have the right support, it's because you're meant to build your table and invite others to it. So let's get going.
I feel like we are going, Christine. I really appreciate this here. Thanks for bringing this game into the mix, and thank you for playing it. You said, "Pay attention. People need help." That's already catching me really strongly. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Doreen, we'd love to get to know you. Share more about you and the game you're currently playing, please.
Oh, I had a little bit more time to think about it. I'm playing the game of chess in marketing, which is really, really tough. Marketing is changing every single day. AI came onto the scene to marketing way before I think anywhere else, and it's changed the game. Everybody who's been playing checkers and sitting on their hands, not really paying attention, it's really not good. So I'm playing chess. I'm working ahead to where most people are because I want to help small business owners figure out how to use AI strategically and not just as a tool to, write an email for them or something. So I am working my butt off to learn every day and implement with AI still in social media marketing as well. But if you're not playing chess in this environment, in this industry, you're going to be left behind and you will be replaced. So that's why I'm playing chess.
Well, I'm excited for this conversation. Thank you for bringing everything that you bring to the conversation, y'all. I like to get started off here with one of the outlier questions that I have, and this one in particular is just going to focus in on something that you do that like other people see, but they don't actually understand like the depth to what is taking place, right? I like to look at this here because I think about various trailblazers who are like, well, this is just a thing that I do, but what I get is when you've really been playing this game with intention, you're able to do it in a way that gets leverage beyond what most people would normally see on the surface. So I'm going to open up this question here. I'm sure each of you have your own way about doing this, but would you mind sharing with us that thing that you bring to the table that even though people see, they may not understand exactly how deep it goes, and then also how you leverage that in your business and impact right now?
Well, I'll answer that first
Yeah,
if
Brandon.
nobody else don't mind. Um, Earlier, I was just talking about this earlier with somebody close. They didn't understand my perspective on this, but it's commitment. It's the commitment. People may not understand the commitment you have. The commitment might be crazy. The commitment might be risky. The commitment might be, normal at times. But to some people, they might look at it as, oh, you're too close on it. You're too close on it. But your commitment is what's going to bring out to the table what you're really doing with your business. Because as long as you're committed and you're being smart and strategic, as Doreen said, and you're having faith, as Miss Miller and Miss Christine said earlier, you'll be all right. And I believe commitment really plays a role because if you're not committed and you're not passionate, you're not loving what you're doing, then you're just going to not really succeed in whatever field you're trying to go in for whatever you're passionate for. So that's just what I'm saying on that part.
I'll
Thank you,
jump in
Brendan. And
too.
and as you come in, would you mind just saying your first names again, just so that anyone that's listening gets a chance to associate you?
Yeah, I'll jump in with this. It is Christine over here, Christine Campbell Rapin. I think the discipline of focus versus fragmentation is a hallmark of how I see the world. Every entrepreneur I know has about 1 million tabs open on their computer. They run their day by to-do lists. And I built my first business working an hour a day. People kept saying, what the heck? What are you doing? And it led to conversations around coffee tables, conversations around a glass of wine. And I'm like, I'm highly focused on being effective for as little hours as possible. And the perception of people is, you're really doing 1 million things. I said, no, I'm being very focused and effective at the things and the lane I choose to play in. And that's discipline. It doesn't happen happenstance. And I also have to be reminded, do the work. Stop being distracted.
Yeah, Christine, I will follow you. This is Alyssa Miller, and uh, I have this eagle view approach to what I do. I kind of have this, big, high perspective, but also a very, very, very focused perspective on the details. And the only way that I can describe how I do as much as I do, right? Because there's a lot, is that I embody it. I've been doing digital infrastructure, PR, and communications for about 30 years. I feel it in my bones. And so when I'm working with my clients, the intense presence that I have, it goes into my body and I feel the answers. It just comes out of me. It's a very interesting place to be because I don't have to work for the answers or the direction some of the time. It flows right through. And so that kind of energetic force is super insightful about how I operate not because most people are trying to control so much in front of them rather than sit back and take it all in, process it mentally and physically to be able to provide the guidance that's needed. And so that's something that people don't really understand or appreciate how I do all of that. It's very hard to articulate.
Hmm. That's awesome. Well, I'll bring up the rear. I think what I do that people don't see is that I'm very much an idea person and thinking person. I love to sit with clients in a group, a focus group with some of their staff or part of their marketing team and just have thinking sessions. Imagine a ball being thrown back and forth between two people, right? It's only going to go back and forth two ways, right? One, back and forth. As soon as you add a third person in that now a circle, the ball can go different ways. What if there was a fourth person or a fifth person? The more people are in there, the more different you're thinking and the longer the road's going to be. So I love bringing people together and thinking especially about content, which is my specialty of, these ideas. Somebody might say, I have an idea to do X, and then we bring people in the room and they take it higher and higher. And so that exponential thinking is what people don't see until they work with me. And I think that's kind of my superpower.
Y'all have me smiling over here because I'm already growing through this. There's new ideas, new ways I want to have different sessions that are playing out. And so I really appreciate you. Um, the next question I'm going to go into is around. So, Alyssa and Christine, you both brought up something that I felt was like pretty counterintuitive. Alyssa, you talked about like you're like I embody. I've been doing this work for 30 years, and what you didn't lead on was like, and I'm an expert. What you landed, you're like I'm embodied in this, and I thought that was really counterintuitive. Christine, you talked about like when your first business, you're like I work an hour a day on this here, and I still get done more than most other people do. And that also was a really counterintuitive idea. So, the question I want to bring in for you all is I'm thinking about any trailblazer out there that's like, well, the way that I do things either doesn't make sense to most other people, wouldn't, it's not what other people are saying, right? And I can't really fit it into like that nice, neat box that just goes and says someone like raise their hand and say, oh, I want to work with you because of this. I feel that you all have been playing this game for the way that you've learned how to articulate or be with something that feels more counterintuitive or less mainstream in some sort of way. And I'd love for you to speak a little bit about A, what that is for you, if you haven't said it yet, and B, how did you deal with the discomfort before it became comfortable?
This is Alyssa. I'll start if that's okay. You know, I'll give a little plug to this program that I did. I was already embodying and shifting from leading from a traditional business construct format into a more embodied and spiritual, way. Like things that feel good just flow easier. Things that feel bad are harder to manage through. It's a very simple thing, right? When you distill it into the body. And I took a program called the Inner MBA. And the Inner MBA program was really helping to fine tune the fact that you can lead with compassion in the business world, in that tight construct where it's all about money and the pressure to be the best and all that. You can actually do all those things, but have that flow more naturally and with ease in your body and in your mind and in your soul with purpose driven intent. And so that has been a key driver for me in trying to alter how I do things, because as the owner and the CEO of my own company, I want that company to work for me and not necessarily be the slave to that company. And we get it all wrong in business world. We are taught that we have to be slaves to everything, and that we have to work till 10 o'clock every night, and that you have to bust your bum every single day to make it happen. That is hard. It doesn't feel good, and it creates dis-ease. And so what if you could do it with more flow, with more natural, and with a conscious decision to do it with heart and soul and compassion and have it feel good? That is my mission.
Thanks, Alyssa. I'll keep this open for anyone else. Does anyone else want to talk about like the pathway to it? Yeah, I see you, Doreen. I see you, Brendan. Let's go to
Yeah,
you,
so
Doreen.
this is Doreen, and I didn't have any sort of business book. I had been a stay-at-home mom, and I was 40 when I started my business. So, and I don't have a college education, so it's a very different path that I took. And so I had no preconceived notions. I've really, at that age, didn't care anymore what people thought of me, which was super freeing. And here I am 15 years later. I've built a wonderful business and I've just looked ahead. So, one of the examples I'll use is I took an online course to become a social media manager. This was 15 years ago. Social media was brand new. People were using it for personal gain at that point, but not a lot of brands were out there using social media. So it was a perfect lead in for me to get in there. And I, in a way, feel that's what's happening with AI now. People are using it for, like, help me write an email and not really strategically. But what happened was I took this course and then within 3 weeks turned around and started teaching people in my business network that I was building on how to use social media. And I remember my husband looking at me as I'm walking out the kitchen with $100 check to go rent a room at the local college to go teach social media. And he's like, "Didn't you just learn that?" I'm like, "Yeah, but they need to know too. So I'm just going to go teach it to them." And he has an MBA from a very famous business school, and it just was not the way he would have done it. But because I didn't know, I just did it. And it was a great place for me to network. That's where I found my first client, because I was teaching people the stuff that I learned, and then they realized, oh, this is way too hard. Let's just hire Doreen to do it. So, throwing some stuff out the window, and whatever business book or whatever business rules that you're following, I would say make up your own. Even if you're younger, especially we're reinventing everything at this point. After the pandemic, now with AI coming, this whole new generation coming up, having grown up on social media, just make new rules. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks. And I think that's kind of helped me. So just kind of do the things that I wanted to do, and at the same time still be available and raise 4 kids. So, yep.
God bless.
Yeah. I wanted to say, when back to piggyback when Niiamah was asking the question about discomfort and how you get comfort from discomfort, I just want to put in my experiences that, like, for me personally, what I've done is, and this is what some people may need to do whenever they're like in their early stages of starting their purpose or going into that creative field, is just that, calling other people who think alike just like you can really help you out. And now people that would just be like, okay, like surface level, like, oh, okay, that's good. People who actually will honestly tell you the truth and, also tell you what's doing good as well, so that you can be able to improve, and that they do it from love. And it's not just people that you probably already associate yourself with, like maybe former friends, former family members that just, say things and don't know it, because they might not help you like that certain family member, a certain friend who's in that field might help you. And so I know me just calling people who really can think alike and understand you, especially mentors or, other people who are higher than you, they can really help you understand the knowledge of business and entrepreneurship, or just as a person in general, in leadership, especially if you come from a, toxic home or a home that doesn't have good structure, because I believe broken homes don't doesn't necessarily have to be divorced parents. Broken homes can be people who don't have the right common sense or the right inner works of like, providing that love and compassion. Even if they do provide love, it shouldn't be transactional. It should be, honestly just pure love from the passion of their heart. And what I realized is that through pressure, because I dealt with adversity personally with certain family members, certain friends, is just that pressure is what builds your faith. And just like a fruit, like if you're getting fruit juice, you have to squeeze out all the juice out the fruit in order to get that juice so you can drink it, right? And so that's how I believe it is, with life in general. You're going to deal with pressure, but that pressure really increases your faith, which leads you to take more action, because as long as you're having that faith to do what you're doing and believing, you'll be good and good on the road to your purpose.
I'll jump in. It's Christine here, and I think what I observed when I started my journey was the hokey pokey. The 1 foot in, the 1 foot out, shake it all about and see what sticks. And while that is a great game, it's not necessary in the business world. And your biggest asset is observation. Humans connecting to other human beings. And when people came to me and said, how are you building your business an hour a day? I said it was a non-negotiable to stay in motion 1 hour a day. And I could commit to that in all the seasons. And so I set my own boundaries to it and recognize that an object in motion stays in motion more easily than an object starts and stops and starts and stops and starts and stops. And when I'd kick around a cup of tea or a glass of wine, I'd say to my friends, the difference between where you are and where I are is not 40 hours for you and an hour for me. The difference is I know what game I'm running, and I'm going to stay in motion at the speed I can handle. And some seasons are Mach 10 hair on fire, and some seasons are quieter. But what has made me great is an observer who can find the pattern. Because entrepreneurs who are struggling can only see the sky is falling, can only see the immediate storm that they're in. And as an observer, kicking around as the other side of the table, who's sitting actually on the same side as you, says, here's what's happening. There's not one way to grow a business. I've created $1 billion with people. There's a lot of different ways we've done that. You get to find your way. But what is important is to recognize the pattern, choose the speed, and stay in motion. And when you do that, it's easier to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. And I think simple is what scales. I want it to be like breathing, not my hair's caught on fire.
This is, I had to take a breath there. And outliers, if you haven't taken a breath yet, like go ahead and do it. My hair's not on fire, but y'all are bringing real fire to this conversation. I really appreciate it. Outliers, I'm going to check in with you here. What's one insight that you're getting already from this conversation? What's one thing that you want to look into more deeply or to challenge about yourself to go and explore? And if that insight isn't coming to you, how would you answer any of the questions that we're having right now? If you were a part of this conversation, which you are, you're the invisible sixth person here. Like, what would keep growing with you? All right. So I'm going to play in two different ways. I like here, but there's something that Christine said and something that Doreen said that had me thinking here. And Brendan, you brought in something as well. So now I'm looking at them like this tied all the way through. Brendan, I think earlier you talked about like truths, and I want to come in and bring in the element of like that confronting truth that you may have had to deal with. So the way I'm going to ask this question is like, what's the hardest truth that you had to hear or to say in order to build the business that you have? For anyone out there that's waiting or is on the sidelines, afraid of hearing that, I think it might be really useful to hear this and answer this if you're feeling called to. Christine, I see you. I think you leaned in on this one. So
I did lean in on this. This is the imperative one. In the world of business, you have to do this because you want to. Okay, it has to be the fundamental truth that you're not doing this for somebody else's applause, to retire somebody else, to be available for somebody else, to do something for somebody external. And that's a hard truth to hear. It's very altruistic, and you will be applauded for building on behalf of somebody else. it's not sustainable, because it really comes from the spark, which you are the spark of your dream, and everyone around you is a fuel source. Somebody else can't be your spark. It doesn't work that way. And when we were in COVID, I remember my husband hard checking me, said, "I've heard you say something twice that is a lie. You're not building this business for what it affords our family. You're not building this business for the trips it provides, the experiences it provides. You do this because it's like oxygen to you. And that business vision board that you have in your office, 95% of it is not the family, it's you experiencing, leading, supporting other people. And we love who you are in the process of becoming this. But don't for a second think that we're the oxygen. You're the oxygen. And when I work with other people, I watch the moment they break when they say, I get to do this for me. And it's hopeful in that response. And I said, yes, is the only thing that will work. Uncomfortable truth. It's got to be about you.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. And then once it's about you, then you serve the people that need to be served.
100%.
Don't serve the people that you just said that don't associate with you. Serve the people that you serve. It goes back to what I said earlier too about calling. Call, or as you said too, in person. Be in person and network with the people who are in the same length as you. Because when you're in the same length with them, the same wavelength with them, you're gonna keep growing and evolving. When you're around people who are just not doing the same thing you're doing, and they're just trying to not live a good life, or either doubt you, or either not have faith in you, then you don't need to waste your time with them. And that's such a true thing. If you know is, and I say this constantly to my friends, to myself, to my YouTube audience on the podcast, and if anyone's listening to this from my podcast, you know it. You know, you doing something for you is the best thing ever. Your purpose isn't about the money. Your purpose isn't about nothing. Your purpose is just what's in you, how God made you to be. Personally for me as a man of faith, how God made you to be. And that's your purpose, because once you do that, then other things will go along the road. And if it is divine, then it's really going to kick in, because it's something divine for his kingdom. For me personally as a man of faith, that's just for me personally, how what I believe in.
Let's keep playing with this here. Thank you. This is fun. So, more hard truths if y'all are down.
Yeah, this is Alyssa. I'll jump in here. This is a question that I've pondered about myself when I realized I was stuck in a place that it didn't feel good for me. And so being able to answer this question and share this is part of my journey. And I do hope that your listeners appreciate it, because I grew my business and created my persona and thought that my entire life was about being in unbridled service to everyone else, to be the space holder, the problem solver, the protector, right? The indispensable person, all of that. Um, and I forgot about me in that process. And when I had the hard truth about, well, if I stop doing all those things, then my worth, is reduced, and then I'm vulnerable, and then rejection and all the hard things and that I've been working to protect myself against are going to come through. And the reality is, at least not yet, it hasn't happened that way. It's only freed me up to blossom even more when I let go of the idea that I have to do these things for others, because it's innately part of me anyway, that is a driver of me. As long as I'm taking care of myself and that I'm doing it for the reasons that feel good for me, it is a natural flow. And so I hope that helps others who are maybe struggling with trying to figure out how to unravel some of these hard truths about ourselves that hold us back from being really who we are.
And then with some people too, I can agree. It can be yourself, because even for me as a person, I can relate with you, Alicia. That you have that heart, and I have that heart as well to help people.
Mhm.
And then sometimes, what and I realize with some people who are very open hearted are mostly the ones, or sometimes the ones that get manipulated the most, because we feel that we have to take care of this person, and most likely that person we're going after all the way around is not even treating us right. And some people, what I said earlier, prefer that things should be transactional, and it's not supposed to be transactional. It's out of pure love. It's out of pure your heart. And when you do that, you're going to see more results. And I always believe this too. I don't care if a person is young, if a person is way older, or however it is. If you don't have the heart to love somebody or respect somebody, then you're definitely just a terrible person. And you got to really work on yourself to improve and do better, because people can always change. There's always a second chance for people to change, but it's the heart. Because positions, ages, however it is, don't mean anything if you don't have the heart to respect people. And I'm a
Right.
big believer in that.
I want to jump back in if I can, Brendan. This is
Yes,
Alyssa
ma'am.
again, because thank you so much for bringing that up. There's a great book I'm reading right now called The Untethered Soul. And the whole purpose of that book is about keeping an open heart. And that is really hard. But what has helped me to do that is understanding and keeping very clear boundaries and working through that. It is an evolution. I find new boundaries and new things all the time, but knowing your boundaries will allow you to have an open heart while also not being taken advantage of. And so I hope that helps.
Yes, ma'am. I got that written down right now.
This is Doreen. I want to follow up on what Alyssa said. Something that you said sparked. I, for a long time, was looking at what everybody else is doing. And so the hard truth was that all of you who are listening and all of us here, we're journeying our own journey. It's not going to be like anybody else. So keep looking at competition or what society expects of us or what we should be doing. Like Christine was saying, 1 hour a week working versus 40. Those kind of things, when people say stuff to you, the hard truth is they're just talking about their own experience. And so as somebody who had kids home every summer for 12 weeks, I couldn't grow my business as fast because I wasn't willing to give up being a mom and being present for my kids. So it took me a lot longer than somebody else who might not have a spouse, might not have children, might not have be a volunteer in the community and put all those things ahead of my business for a while. I did not make six figures until I was 9 years into my business. But at that point, that was a point that my youngest started college. So that's when I had more time. And that was the right point. That was the right part of the journey for me. But if I'd looked to all my colleagues, they were all getting jobs. I started out as a freelancer, business owner, and then they all got marketing jobs and they were promised a lot of money. And I am so glad I didn't follow their journey or look at my competition because a lot of them now have been let go. And here I am thriving because it is my journey. So if you're watching and you're looking to other people, I guess outliers, we're all different anyway, but this is just a reminder to let you know that it's okay to be on your own journey. And, the road from 1 to 2 is not a straight line. We all know that. So just a reminder, don't necessarily look at what your competition is doing because you don't know what's in their life and who they're supporting and what they really want to do.
Y'all are just spectacular. I thoroughly appreciate you. We're coming to the end of this conversation. I have just a few quick questions for you all just to wrap us all up. What I like to do is give each of us a chance here to share how we are still playing on our edge now. So it's like we're outliers edge. And one of the things I like, it's one thing to be able to talk about our past and be like, and feel like we've successfully overcome things. And at the same time, I know that with the game we're playing, we're consistently finding new ways to up level ourselves. So if you wouldn't mind sharing a project or a goal that you're taking on right now that has you on your edge, that has you like stepping outside of your comfort zone. It'd be really wonderful to hear about that. What excites you about that? What gives you sweaty palms about it? And we'll couple this also with uh, if you can also share with us the best way that outliers can follow up with you or go deeper in your world. I think this would be a good 2-for-1 element. Right, Christine, I'm drawn to you right now, so I'm going to start with you on this one here. Would you mind sharing your thoughts on this? And I'll go to all four of you on this.
Yes, I have a commitment to myself because I have a very big birthday this year. I'm entering a brand new decade. And it is that I leave nothing that I wanted to try on the table as an untried experience. And if I have a natural reaction to something like that's terrifying, I hear my coach in my head that says, do things that scare you. It's the only way you'll grow. So for me, I'm stepping into bigger opportunities, bigger investments, bigger rooms that are intimidating. And I have one thing that goes through my mind. You belong in every room. Go create your table and go create the opportunity. So for me, we're in double-digit growth 5 years in a row, and this year's double is a significant almost number because it's got a higher base than ever before. It's go time is my response to that. And I get to choose if it is terrifying from a lead balloon in my stomach or butterflies, and I'm saying butterflies, it's time to fly. You can find me. My name is Christine Campbell Rapin. I have a great podcast. If you're in the world of business trying to find your next client, come find it. It's called Amplify Your Marketing Message with Christine Campbell Rapin. That's my name. It's how you find me, ChristineCampbellRapin.com. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks so much, Christine. This is good stuff. Doreen, how about you? What's
Sure.
up to you?
There's two big projects. One is that I'm diving into the world of in-person retreats. I hosted my first retreat in May. I'm hosting another one. It's women-centered, teaching them how to be confident on video, creating video, editing video, and get more visibility. 70-something% of women have imposter syndrome. They don't want to be on video. They don't want to do it. So I really am focusing in on females to get them in front of the camera, but teach them the skills. So it's the 3-day weekend of just getting the camera out and shooting video of each other and then learning how to edit and post. So that's one. And then the other one is I've been a keynote speaker since 2017 for quite a few years, but it's always been about social media and strategy. And so I've kind of taken this year off, and in October, I'm flying to South America for like the third time to the same conference, but this time I'm going to talk about AI. So it's going to be like a scary new thing that I'm doing. It's going to be new talk, but new way, instead of talking about social media strategy, it's AI business strategy. So it's really talking more about growing your business using AI versus just marketing. So it's a whole new direction, and it's a little bit scary because, it's new and different, and hopefully it lands well, but I'm very excited about those two projects. And I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. I'm available anywhere under More in Media, which is the name of my business. So I am everywhere, but the most active I am is on LinkedIn, and my podcast is called Strategy Talks.
Thank you, Doreen. This is exciting. It's cool to see how you embrace this and going all in. Brendan, why don't we come to you?
Sorry for the delay, just had to mute myself. So right now what I'm working on that's got me on my edge is the fact that I'm just promoting my 3 books right here. Do you need any help to help you start in your life? They're brilliant ambitions to help you in your purpose, so that you can be able to have the skill set to be ready in your purpose, and then the soft skills really, and then my memoir, which is Trials, Tribulations, and Trauma, my 3rd book, and got released this year, of course, as it's recording June of 2025. And which is July 2025, but last month, and just to really inspire people with trials, tribulations, trauma, let them know that they're built through adversity. And so what got me on my edge right now is the fact that I've been built through adversity. My story was not hidden, it was spoken. And I want to be able to, have other people know that their story can be spoken. It doesn't have to be through a book, but it probably could be through apparel, it could be through just, words, it could be through maybe just them doing a YouTube video like what I do. And where people can contact me, you can contact me mostly through my Instagram, which is influencer B, with the L is an underscore, insert B, and then I mostly be on my podcast, which is called the Development Pod on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, that's on YouTube. And then my email is mrbrownthoughts123@gmail.com. If you'd like to email me for any request to be on a show or any news or anything to speak or however it is. But for me right now, just trying to continue to evolve myself as an entrepreneur, motivational speaker, 3-time author, and content creator and podcast host. So a lot of hats on my head, but just trying to be creative as possible. So thank you, Niiamah.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you for the way you play. Alyssa, why don't you bring us home on this one here?
Sure, I'm happy to do that. And I also want to thank you, Niam, for having me here, and Brendan and Christine and Doreen for this incredible discussion. So what I'm working on that's got me on my edge. I realized after 14 years leading and building my company, which I'm so proud of, that I've done it. I've done the thing. I'm no longer proving that I can do it. And that has freed me to elevate myself into what I can do. We are living in the digital age, right? Digital infrastructure is everywhere and needed. We're you all using it in tremendous ways. But there's one simple gap, and that is there is no real framework or guideline to communities about how they evaluate digital infrastructure for their communities. And so they're saying no to data center developments. They're saying no to network infrastructure when they don't realize that government services are going to require connectivity for digital infrastructure. AI is boosting it. People at their homes, businesses everywhere need all of that. So, the edge that I am at right now is helping to bring together a nationwide framework that provides the the businesses of community developers an overlay for master planning how you evaluate your digital infrastructure so no community can be left behind, and stopping the no to digital infrastructure development and starting the curiosity of what do we have? What do we need? What do we want? And that in turn attracts the right kinds of businesses. So that's what's got me on my edge. And you can find me in various places. My company is iMiller Public Relations. imillerpr.com is online. I run an online publication called Data Center Post, all one word, datacenterpost.com. And I'm also host of NIDAS Live, where wireline and wireless meet. We talk about the challenges and opportunities and trends that are shaping the digital world. And if you'd like to track me down, I'm also available on LinkedIn. And thank you again, Niam, for having me on your program.
Well, thank you all here. This has been a conversation that has gotten me to think, and not only to think, I think I want to get like honor it even more. I'm changing things as a result of my behaviors, and my plans are changing. So I want to thank you all for playing the game that you've been playing here. Thank you for sharing it so openly with us here as Outliers and Trailblazers. Outliers, until the next time we talk, remember, be you on purpose. Journey on.